So here's how the bracket looks. Now we have the real bracket, and we've got the number 1 seeds who will be in action this weekend for the first time against respective 6 seeds in their conferences. And Pete, this does not look like your bracket that you filled out. You went
over.
Yeah, you went.
Well, I had a couple wins.
0-7 against the spread,
Yeah.
but you had what? What did you pick? One winner? Was it the Rams? Is that the only winner you had straight
No, I had
up?
the Patriots winning too.
Okay, so 2 wins
I had that going.
straight
I have
up.
those 2 going for me.
But
It was bad.
0-7
What I mean,
against the spread.
They say people get better in the playoffs. Not me.
What more could you ask?
I wilted like Justin Herbert in the playoffs.
Stop. That wasn't his fault.
No, that wasn't.
Come on.
But he hadn't won in the playoffs, has
They
he?
had to bring the spatula out for him.
They haven't
to
won
get
in the
him off
playoffs
the
yet.
This is like, I like NASCAR. You know, they do Daytona, Talladega are the big ones. They're going 212 miles an hour, 4 wide across the finish line, and 1 little inch will get you the victory. And that's the margin we see with all these teams. And, you know, it's evidenced in your picks last week. And I had a good week, which means nobody really knows what's going on.
I mean, over. You know how hard it is to go over?
And to have both of your Super Bowl teams out in wild card weekend?
That's tough.
That's hard to do, Pete.
Yeah, that is hard to do. Look, I thought the Eagles would get it going. They didn't. They have offensive problems, and I thought Jacksonville should have won the game. You know what they should have done? Maybe if you kicked the field goal early in the game when you're up 7-3 instead of going for it on 4th down, you wouldn't have needed those 3 points late in the game. So
But they got their guy, though.
They got the guy. Guy's a good coach, and the team's going to be there for a while.
Now you've got you have anything to say to Liam Cohen as a reporter? No, I'm just kidding. No, let's go to.
I love you so much.
I shouldn't even have brought
You're
it
my
up.
favorite.
Not have brought it up. Stop it.
You know what, though? I will say this about that. Do we really got to get worked up over everything now?
No.
Way
What
too
are we
much of a
doing?
deal out of
Can
it.
we make fun of stuff, though? Is that allowed?
Yeah, sure.
I love you so much.
Yeah, we can make fun of it, but don't get worked up about
Let's
it.
repick it then. I mean, now that your Jags are out, your Eagles are out, how do you see this going the rest of the way, Pete?
Look,
You back on the Bills bandwagon?
I am back on the Bills bandwagon. I am back on the Bills bandwagon. Although since they put me in the video, I might take them back out again. No, I think the Bills can go to Denver and win. I think they can go to New England and win. And on the other side, I think Seattle's sitting really in a good spot.
Oh, yeah.
I really believe that. I mean, you're at home in that place with that defense against teams that you've played, probably going to play, I think, no offense, I think they're going to be playing the Rams. But I do think that they're sitting in a great spot. So the only question with Seattle is?
That's it, Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold. It's the only one.
What about you, Kyle?
I think it's BS the way he just, picks the team that's playing the Bears. I mean, we got to wait to see this.
You got a gift last
We
week.
got to wait to
That's
see
right.
this
He had the
game.
Packers
And he
going to
calls
the
me
Super Bowl.
Saturday night. Of course, he calls me Saturday night and rubs it in.
I did call you. It might have been
heck.
Sunday morning by that time.
It was-
Look, I mean, this Seattle Seahawks, he says there's no good teams. I would argue that the Seahawks are a very, very good football
They're
team.
the odds-on favorite,
But
right?
that's the X factor is that quarterback position. And, nobody is immune to it. Matt Stafford turns the football over. Drake May, has an opportunity to turn the football over. Sam Darnold, same thing can happen. So it may have less to do with becoming a pumpkin and more to do with this is just playoff football and things happen. So I wouldn't write them into the Super Bowl just quite yet. But they're the team that I'd be fearful the most of.
But we can go through every single one of them. Flaws.
Yes.
What is the Rams' flaws? The secondary hasn't played very well. They don't run very well on offense. You go through the Seattle. You got Sam Darnold. That's a flaw. They don't run. They have run the ball lately, but can they run it consistently in the playoffs? So the Bears pass rush. Where is it? The secondary gives up a lot of plays. I mean, you can go through every single team and pick them apart. That's why I always say, is anybody any good?
Yeah.
And that's why the playoffs have been fantastic.
You turned into a pumpkin when the playoffs hit.
I wilted.
Pretty good
I
with your picks all throughout the year, and then the playoffs.
You know what I did? I curled up in the fetal position.
He's a
over here.
starfish. You just got to throw some water on him. He'll be okay in about 20
Mommy?
minutes. Mom, come pick me up.
Well, Pete Prisco is still in. Well, are you in the lead anymore? You were
I think
5
I
games
am.
up. We're going to show you the standings in just a little bit as we pick every divisional round game against the spread and give you our best bets for divisional weekend. 2 games on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. Our CBS game is a doozy. Bills Broncos. Some call it the best weekend in football. Divisional weekend in the NFL. 2 games on each side, both 1 seeds in action for the first time this postseason. Both 2 seeds still alive and hosting games. Oh my, this might be a first. Pete Prisco winless last week. Have you ever gone winless in a week, Pete?
No, particularly I'm usually really good in the postseason, better than I am in the regular season. By the way, The producer pick, they were actually considering putting a parlay and fading every one of their picks last week. And I don't know why. I've had a good season. Could you imagine?
Big time.
Yeah, there I am. There I am. You know who I am? I'm Brandon McManus. That's who I am.
Jeez.
Reggie Miller, choke job.
It ain't over yet, though.
Pete, only one game up now on Kyle Long after building that nice 6-game lead going into the postseason.
Yeah. I mean, look, they're not wrong. I choked. I had a bad week.
Bad week. You went rock.
You chasing me down, are you? Chasing me down. Did you look at my picks this week?
The tortoise and the hare.
Did you look at my picks? Did you look at my picks?
All right, let's start with the Bills and the Broncos. And depending on where you look, the Bills are a 1-point favorite, or the Broncos are a 1.5-point favorite. 1.5 either side. We're going to go with Bills minus 1.5. If this happens, it would be just the second time in 50 years that a 1 seed is an underdog in the divisional round at home. Last time, Pete, the only other time in 50 years, Eagles-Falcons 2017, and the Eagles won that game and won the Super Bowl with Nick Foles.
That's right. That was the greatest accident in the history of mankind. Nick Foles winning the Super Bowl? Still one of the greatest. Sorry, Eagle fans. I know you get mad when I say that, but it was. Look what happened to him after that. Look, the Bills are favored for a reason. Josh Allen. That's why they're favored.
Superman.
He is Superman. We saw that last week against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars should have won the game. They get 2 touchdowns from behind in the fourth quarter, but you left 4 minutes on the clock. And when you leave 4 minutes on the clock and you give that guy the ball, what's he going to go do? He's going to go get you a touchdown. He was fantastic in the fourth quarter. You know he's going to make plays. Even if he doesn't have a ton of weapons, they scheme stuff open. He hit the big shot. He has a man, the linebacker's bearing down on him. He stands inside the pocket and fires a shot down the field to Cooks for the big play to set up the game-winning touchdown. So that's why they're favored. They have flaws, though. They have issues. I mean, the run defense, and I thought Jacksonville got away from the run game. The good news for them is Denver doesn't run the ball that well. And so I think that kind of mitigates that a little bit. So where do they go? What happens in this game? I think when you play the Denver Broncos, you better be able to run the football. And they're good against the run, but you have to run the football because they can attack you in so many ways off the edge. And they want to get after your quarterback. They did a pretty nice job last week protecting him. So I think Buffalo has a real chance to go in there and win this game because of Josh Allen. The guy is Superman. You know, before the playoffs, what were they saying? If he doesn't do it this year, he's never going to do it. Well, you know what? You might have started him on that roll last week in Jacksonville.
And you heard him in the locker room after the game. He said, what did we have? We earned the right to play again next week. He also said, shooters shoot. This guy's really confident. We know how he can play the game of football. But I think football's the ultimate team game, and I really trust this Denver Broncos football team. And I think that extra week of rest will show when they take the field against the Buffalo Bills. I expect Coach Joseph to have them dialed in onto the rush lanes, rush lane integrity as it pertains to Josh Allen. You cannot let him get out of the chicken coop because he can drive you crazy and break the back of your defense if he gets to the second level. I think that's really where the game's going to be won or lost. Are you going to allow Josh Allen to extend plays when you've got him dead, dead to rights? And the other side of the ball, I think Bo Nix is really the X factor here as well for the Denver Broncos. His ability to move, his ability to get out on the run. You talked about needing to run the football. They have to establish a run in order to cut the field in half with some of those play action movement type things with Bo Nix. That's where I see this thing going. Can the defensive fronts keep those quarterbacks out or inside the tackle box and not let them break contain?
One thing about Buffalo, you went out and you got Joey Bosa for this moment. Last week, he wasn't very good. He was not very good. And they kind of called him out this week. The coaching staff Bob Babich, the defensive coordinator, sounded like he called him out this week. So that guy has to be better than he was a week ago, particularly when you're playing Bo Nix, who can move the way he moves. So I think there's a lot of guys that have the spotlight on them. The good news for Buffalo, they might have Ed Oliver back in this game. His 21-day window is opened up. Curtis Samuel's 21-day window is opened up, and they need him because they had Gabe Davis go down last week with a knee injury. So decent news for them if those guys can go, particularly Ed Oliver. He's big against the run game.
This game, 4:30 Eastern on CBS, by the way, Saturday afternoon. How much stock do you put in the fact that they saw each other last year in the postseason? It was in Buffalo. We know these teams are different. Denver's definitely better this year than last year, but Buffalo completely dominated that game 31-7.
I put some stock into the fact that some of these rushmen have had to deal with taking this unicorn down before. And it's not their first time going and see. Sometimes I used to prep for Julius Peppers, right? Okay, and you can watch him a million times on film. and then you walk out on the field and you see what he looks like in person. And the goal is not to be so distracted by how big and freakish these people are, but to just stick to what you know works and stay away from the things that don't work. And I feel like this Broncos team is well coached. They get an opportunity to be at home. It's going to be a raucous environment in Denver, and I think that's going to be enough to carry this football team.
I think the Bills are going to go in there and win the game because of Josh Allen. And it's not going to be easy because this is not one of those dominant Bills team. But I think he's going to elevate his game to a level against that defense to where he does the Superman thing, where he's getting out, scrambling around. I know he's banged up a little bit, and it doesn't look like he's running. He didn't run as much last week.
He's going to be in more pain up there in the cold weather than he was in Jacksonville this past week.
There's ways around that, though.
There is, but I'll tell you what, there's only so many things you can do before all the things start to add up, and Josh has a laundry list of stuff going on physically.
I think if you go back and watch some of the games where teams block those edges, Jacksonville was one of them, teams block the edge rushers, you're going to have success against them. And that's the key. Those tackles in Buffalo, they've been through the wars, man. Those guys have been through the wars. And so I think that they'll be able to hold up against them, and I think they're going to give them opportunities to make plays down the field.
Josh Allen, when he was in college, played at a higher elevation than this at Wyoming. That's the highest elevation of any football stadium, college or pro, in the United States.
That's when he was throwing the bouncers and bartenders. The balls, he'd throw passes on the tape, and you'd see him hit him in the face and bounce off, and everybody goes, his completion percentage is any good. He can't be any good. Yeah.
So maybe he's not going to be affected as much by the altitude because he has been used to that.
His lungs are bigger. He's fine.
Kyle, what kind of a challenge does this defense pose against him? Why do you believe that this defense, maybe more than any other, can help to contain Josh Allen?
Well, I think it starts with the guy pressing the buttons on the defense, and they've got a really good guy who's got his finger on the pulse of his defensive meeting room, and he understands what they feel comfortable doing and what they don't feel comfortable doing. Now, everybody is uncomfortable playing against Josh Allen, but if you've got 11 guys communicating, seeing the game through one set of eyes, I like it. They've got guys up front, on the inside and on the edge, who can win one-on-ones when given them in the pass rush department. They got guys on the back end who can cover, and like I said, Vance Joseph's going to have these guys in the right spot. The Denver Broncos defense, there's a reason they have so much success. They marry that back end with the front end, so Josh Allen's got to be right in the pocket, and he's got to be on his P's and Q's when throwing the football down the field.
Here's a weird thing about this game, though. When you have Surtain, you say, okay, Surtain's going to go play the number one wide receiver and take him away and keep him over there. Well, they don't have a number one wide receiver. So
so you're saying this could actually help the Bills not having a one?
Well, I think what it can do, it's going to open up the middle of the field a little bit. And I think that's where the tight ends are going to be important in this game. I think the tight ends will be effective in the middle of the field for the Buffalo Bills. I think whether it's Kincaid, Knox, maybe Hawes, you get them all involved. And they use a lot of those packages where they have a lot of big tight ends on the field. So I think keep an eye on this game on the tight ends. I think they're going to be big factors.
Kyle, you trust Bo Nix to win a game like this?
I mean, why not? Last week, people were asking me, do you trust Caleb Williams to go beat them? Why not Bo Nix? Why not Drake May? Why not all these young quarterbacks? This is Game of Thrones, baby. It's time to break the wheel and just figure out who's going to be who in the coming decade. This is a prove yourself moment for Bo Nix.
Here's the other thing. The Broncos have played that and won a ton of close games. Is that a good thing? Or does that expose you for who you've been as a team all year? So we won't know until the playoffs. We have no idea. You know what I mean? Winning close games is a sign that you can get it done, but it's also a sign that you might not be as good as maybe being that number one seed. So we'll know in the playoffs. But in the end, are you going to trust Bo Nix late in the game, and he's been good late in the game, or Josh Allen? And Trevor Lawrence came into last week's game as one of the hottest quarterbacks in the league, and Josh Allen still got him because he got the ball back at the end of the game. I'm taking Josh Allen. I'm taking the Buffalo Bills.
All right. On opposite sides, Pete's going with the Bills to win.
Put that in your damn hype video, huh?
Yeah, save that one. The Broncos will get you if
oh,
the
they
Broncos
got me already.
Winning.
Plenty of time.
NFL Today Plus is on, we've got the game on Saturday this week.
Yes.
4:30 Eastern time on Saturday.
This is Saturday. I believe it's 1:30 to 3:30 on CBS Sports HQ, streaming on Paramount Plus. It's the normal show we do every Sunday, but things are bumped up a day. So
it must be a big game because you
fill your afternoon with
put your whole head in this week in the graphic. That's nice.
Don't be looking at my head.
Now, how about the NFC West? 3 of the remaining 4 teams in the NFC from that division. So we could get a couple of rematches here, or third matches, rubber matches, if you will. 49ers at Seahawks. It's Saturday night, and Seattle is a touchdown favorite at home because the last time we saw Sam Darnold and the Seahawks, they were completely suffocating the 49ers in San Francisco in that game for the 1 seed. To be able to play this game in Seattle, and for the 49ers, they're only coming off 6 days rest. Is that going to play a factor in this game?
I really don't like how this thing played out with the 6 days rest thing. I would be livid about it. Now, granted, you can't be pissed off for very long because you got to recover and get back for the football game. So I think definite disadvantage for the San Francisco 49ers. And who's got it better than the Seattle Seahawks? Get an opportunity to play in one of the hardest stadiums in football, in one of the best atmospheres you can play in, and playoff football there, as you know, is crazy. And I think this guy Sam Darnold's going to come into this game, absolutely riding high off understanding that his football team is really good. The defense.
But do you think he's going to have pressure? Is he going to be, he's going
there's
to be looking over
there's pressure on everybody. There's
the
pressure on everybody. There was pressure on Patrick Mahomes throughout the season. There was,
But this is
unfathomable pressure on Josh Allen.
In the playoffs.
So it was Josh Allen had to prove it last week too. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody else is out of the playoffs. You got to win. So I don't buy any of that. What I do buy is the Seattle Seahawks being a damn good football team, physical. They can run it. They can throw it. They can play defense. That to me means keep it simple, stupid. I love the Seattle Seahawks in this one, Pete. I really do. And I feel like the thing that tips the scales even further than they are already tipped is home field advantage and that week of rest.
Yeah, the week of rest is big, and they did do the 49ers a disservice. You had two teams that played on Saturday, and they could have played them on. So.
And they're probably the most banged up team in the NFL.
Well,
right now,
they are the most banged up team. You're talking about the 2 stars on defense aren't there, and plenty of other players on defense aren't there, and now you lose George Kittle to an Achilles injury. They have 5 stars on the team if you don't count Purdy as a true star, and 3 of them are not going to be in the game. That's hard to handle. But Kyle Shanahan is brilliant, okay? He went into Philadelphia against Vic Fangio, and he hit him right at the gate. Boom, I'm gonna hit Robinson down the field and set the tone for the game. He's a great coach, and everything he does to get that offense moving, I think he's going to be challenged here by that Seattle defense, but I think he will move the football. I think Purdy will play well here. And let's not forget, Trent Williams wasn't in the last game, in that last meeting. He did not play, and that's enormous for the 49ers, whose offensive line, by the way, in the last 6, 7, 8 weeks has played much better when Trent Williams has been on the field. The group as a whole has been much better. I think if you can block him, you can hang in the game. I worry about the 49ers defense. Look, we can point to Sam Darnold all you want. I think the 49ers defense, they played well last week, but the Eagles offense is very limited. Even with Sam Darnold, I think the Seahawks will be able to hit some throws down the field. I think the Seahawks win the game, but I think the 49ers hang around. I'm going to take the 49ers in the points.
Have you ever picked the Seahawks to cover?
I'm picking the Seahawks to win the game.
Yeah. But to cover.
By the way, I go
Has
back
it
to
ever
something.
happened?
Remember when they? Yeah, I have. Remember when they went to Jacksonville and they beat the Jaguars during the regular season? People in Jacksonville were telling me that even then they said that Seattle's probably the best team in the league right now. And I said, what? Because they hadn't proven it yet. But you know why? That defensive front is downright nasty across the board. They can run at you in waves, and that's why that matchup up front with the 49ers getting Trent Williams back, will they be able to block him? If they can block him, I think you can hit some throws down the field again.
Yeah, how is that going to make it for Christian McCaffrey against that front, and maybe ways for Kyle Shanahan to get him the ball like he did last week, more in the passing game?
Christian McCaffrey is the thing that probably gives Brock Purdy the most comfort, understanding that no matter what is thrown at him at the line of scrimmage, pre or post snap, he's got a guy that he can let some of that pressure out, the safety valve, as it were, and that's been Christian McCaffrey. With George Kittle out of the lineup, and he's got his bottle of tequila up there in the owner's suite, they're going to have to rely on Christian McCaffrey again. And you know what? This isn't the first time that they've been without George Kittle, so I expect the football to get spread around. Brock Purdy really is. I know Christian McCaffrey's the X factor. Brock Purdy's the X factor too, because he's been lively with his legs. He's been playing a really confident brand of football, and for whatever reason, him and Kyle Shanahan, when they're like on the same page, this thing is humming. This offense is humming. But Seattle, I think the pressure will be too much for that offense to sustain success.
The last time we saw them play, Seattle ran it right down their throats. Remember, they just kept running it and running it and running it. And surprisingly, Philadelphia got away from the run last week, which I didn't understand. But I think that's going to be the game plan, is to pound the football at the 49ers to prove that they can stop it. Can you stop the run? Because they didn't stop it last time. Remember, Seattle couldn't score touchdowns. They didn't score points in that last meeting. It was a very low-scoring game because they couldn't get it in the red zone. So I think that's something to keep an eye on. Can you get the touchdowns when you do get into the red area?
49ers, the only team to win in Seattle this season, but it was week 1. Do you put any stock in that game at this point,
who caught the
considering
touchdown
all of the touchdown pass?
Tonjes.
George Kittle, Tonjes, Ricky Pearsall had over 100 yards receiving. So many guys in that box score that aren't playing in this game.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, they've had to navigate the entire
Coaching
season.
masterclass.
It really is. It's one of the great coaching jobs we'll ever see.
By both of the coordinators.
Yes, because Salah's done a great job as well. I mean, they got Eric Kendricks off the scrap heap.
Yeah, by the way, shout out to EK. That guy's
he got him
awesome.
off the scrap heap, and he's making plays all over the place. So kudos to the coaching staff.
The Seattle Seahawks have not lost a playoff game at home with fans in over 20 years. That's how long it's been. 10 straight home playoff wins when there are fans there. They did lose the COVID year when the fans weren't allowed and all that stuff.
They're going to win. They're going to win this one too. That's a good football.
How many points is that worth? Just this game being in Seattle in that environment, Kyle.
7 points.
A full touchdown?
No.
Full touchdown.
No.
You ever
Well,
tried?
he's the player.
You ever tried to block anybody there?
No.
Wait, what makes it so hard
It's
on the
damn near
on
impossible.
the offensive line?
Then they should be in the Super Bowl every year then.
Dude, I'm telling you
They
what.
don't always get home games in the playoffs.
But here's the other thing.
They haven't had many lately.
Here's what you do to take a credit, because Philly's a tough place to play too.
One of my least favorite places.
Okay, what did the
On
49ers
planet
do?
Earth.
They set the tone last week, went in and scored that touchdown. And you dictate tempo and you go in early and score, then you can
Punch the bully in the mouth.
You darn right. That's what you do.
Pete, I'm being told you have picked the Seahawks 9 times this season.
See?
That much to the chagrin of the YouTube commenters who say you never do. But when you don't pick them, 2-6 against the spread. So when you don't pick the Seahawks, they usually cover.
They dragged me into the abyss then.
Yeah.
The Seahawks. My picks have. I blame the
12s
Seahawks. I blame the
12s
Seahawks.
drag you in and beat you down.
They hate me for some reason.
Isn't
they
it-
hate me in Seattle.
Remember, beginning of the year, it's like Cooper Kupp to Seattle, Geno Smith out, all this stuff. And I was like, it'll never work. I mean, it just won't work with what I've seen from Clint Kubiak's offense, the things that they were trying to get accomplished the last time, his last go-around. I just didn't think they had the horses. And Jackson Smith-Njigba, breaks the NFL record. And Sam Darnold is unbelievable, not in a dome, not with Josh McCown and Kevin O'Connell. It's just crazy to watch. This Seahawks team has impressed me all the way through.
Very good football team.
All right, again on opposite sides of this one.
Well, we like that.
Yeah, well.
You like that?
We
love it.
that.
Oh, I better not say that in the playoffs.
Coming up, we're going to pick Texans, Patriots, C.J. Stroud against Drake May. But really
C.J.
more
Stroud
of the
was looking like Kirk
defenses.
Cousins the other day.
These defenses have been incredible this postseason. To our Sunday games this week in the NFL, and a couple of the bright young stars throwing the football. C.J. Stroud already with 3 playoff wins to his credit, and Drake May going for his second playoff win after picking up
Wins
his
is
first.
not a quarterback stat.
Yeah, I mean,
It really is not.
That's crazy.
I hate that.
He's got 3 wins.
true. Their defenses carried them. Both of these defenses
Thank
carried
you.
them in the wild card
Thank
round.
you.
Neither one of these defenses, neither one of these teams allowed a touchdown in the wild card round. The Patriots 2.5-point favorites at home, Pete.
Look, this is going to be one of those hitch in the mouth, hitch in the mouth, hitch in the mouth, and hitch in the mouth again kind of games. And I love that, and I hate that, because I like to see scoring, but I don't think you're going to see a lot of scoring in this game. I think when you look at the Texans offensively, what C.J. Stroud did the other night is very concerning. It was
5 fumbles?
It was sloppy, and even after he picked up the fumbles, he was sloppy with the ball and fumbled it again and turned it over. And so I'm concerned about that. The Nico Collins injury is one to keep an eye on. He's in the concussion protocol again. Remember, he had a concussion a couple weeks ago and didn't play for a couple weeks. I doubt he'll play this week. It'll be almost impossible for him to get on the field. What does that do to the offense? And then you flip it over to the other side. The Patriots' offensive line last week was not very good.
No.
And Will Campbell, if we were giving out the spinning top of the playoffs, he might have earned that right to have that last week. And so I think they have to be better against that defensive front. So it's defense, 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 but it's ultimately going to come down to the offense, the quarterback who makes the plays. And who do you believe in of those two guys right now, the way they're playing, who do you believe in more? And that is Drake May. And so for that reason, I will take the Patriots.
So what has Drake May done exceptionally well this year? He has had, high completion percentage.
First in the NFL.
Ball's accurate. The ball's out on time, and it's where it needs to be. How can you speed that up with winners on the edge? And I'll talk till I'm blue in the face about these two guys that rush the passer for the Houston Texans. And I'm really glad you brought up the protection issues for the New England Patriots, because eventually Drake May starts to feel that. The eyes start to come down.
That old Bears logo.
The eyes start to come down from the second and third level, and then that completion percentage will start to dwindle. That will be the only chance for the Houston Texans. Seeing what I've seen from this offense, you have to have elite quarterback play in the playoffs. At this junction in the playoffs, particularly, you need to have good quarterback play. I haven't seen it from C.J. Stroud. Immensely concerned from that matchup we just saw from him. But I think that Houston Texans defense is the reason if they do win. But I'm going to be picking the Patriots at home. Playoff football is what they know how to do at Patriot Place in Foxborough.
I covered that game in 1940, by the way. I could write my story at halftime. It was 73-0. Yeah. Remember on the typewriter.
I love that logo. They got to bring that thing back.
That's awesome.
That's
an awesome logo.
That's the old Decatur Staley's logo.
One thing about the Texans, and this is me being out there saying how I would play them, I'm running at those pass rushers. I'm running at them. And I think the Patriots have to do that, because you know what pass rushers, they don't like to be run at.
No, and what is Will Campbell going to want to do?
Run at.
And what is he not going to want to do?
He's not going to want to go backwards.
So
he's going to want to go forwards.
It's going to be running plays at these ends. That's a great point, Pete. I used to beg for running plays when we play against these fire-breathing dragons. I'd say, just run it at them. Eventually they're going to run. You know, they don't want to play that game. And I think that's the easiest way to build confidence. Heavy play action with the tight end and the tackle at Danielle Hunter, at Will Anderson. Get these guys to start thinking about stuff other than rushing the passer.
And the other thing you don't do against them is don't throw to the sidelines. This is an athletic, fast defense. And you saw that on Monday night. They attack to the sidelines. They tackle as well as anybody in this league. So take your little shots into the middle of the field. Don't be afraid to do that. I think you can. If you run the ball and set that up with play action, you'll be able to hit some throws in the middle of the field.
Both on the Patriots here?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Bad for the Patriots.
It's almost unpatriotic.
Yeah, that's bad for the Patriots. Sorry, guys.
This is the early game on Sunday, 3 o'clock Eastern Time. The Texans against the Patriots with that low total of 41.5. We have one more game.
Yes, we do.
Who's that game?
I don't know.
For Kyle Long, Puka Nacua, Matthew Stafford, and the Rams going into the cold weather to play the Chicago Bears, the magical Chicago Bears. Oh, Sunday night in the Windy City, Chicago. Matthew Stafford, maybe the MVP, taking that high-octane Rams offense into Soldier Field to face a Bears team that it just feels like the team of destiny at this point.
You're hoping.
I think that when Kyle Long did the Lambeau leap in week 1, that turned some kind of mojo. That was like the curse of the Bears. It exorcised the demons.
That was it.
Of Bears-Packers past. But can they beat a different team? Now, this Rams team, the coldest temperature they've played at game time this season, 45 degrees. It's going to be about 30 degrees colder than that in this game. Temp's going to be in the teens. There is a chance of snow.
As long as it's not windy, it won't ruin the game. If it's windy, it ruins the game. If it's snowy, that goes the advantage to the offense. You played in snow. If you're protecting, it's an advantage for you when those guys can't get traction. It's an advantage to the wide receivers who know where they're going. Defensive backs don't have traction. So if it's snowy and not windy, advantage to the offenses. And I think this is going to be an offensive game anyways. I really do. I think both teams are going to score points. I do not like what I've seen from the Rams secondary in the last month of the season, and I've been saying that a long time. Quentin Lake came back. I thought he was solidified. He was bad last week. The corners have struggled. I think the Bears are going to hit their shots down the field. I think Ben Johnson's going to get some plays down the field against this defense. But the other side is the Bears aren't very good on defense. They don't rush the passer very well, and I think there's going to be opportunities for them to hit some shots. And by the way, late in that game, I don't know if you guys saw it, Christian Watson, I watched the tape of that. Christian Watson was wide open, would have hit him for a touchdown if Sweat doesn't get pressure and he has to check the ball down on the first play of the last drive. So I'm just giving you.
If ifs and buts were candy enough.
If you do that against Matt Stafford, he's going to make you pay for it. And I think ultimately, I think the Rams are going to score points. I think the Bears are going to score points. What's that mean about this game? It's going to get what? Lose. But in the end, this isn't going to be like the 1985 championship game when the Rams went in there and got shut out by the 85 Bears. They're going to score points, and they're going to find a way to win the game.
You know, my favorite thing about this Chicago Bears team is they'll give up 40 points and they'll find a way to score 41. That's just their DNA right now. It's like, how much do we have to do to finish this game off? Now, look, here's the missing piece. Caleb Williams having a complete football game. If Caleb Williams can put together a complete football game, I fully expect Ben Johnson and this offense to take full advantage of some of those mismatches, some of those lackluster positions for the Los Angeles Rams. He is going to dial up explosives. He's going to try to look to punch that team in the mouth early and often. And I think Caleb Williams has showed us that there isn't a moment too big for him. And at home, in front of his home crowd, it's going to be a special night for the Chicago Bears. I love the Bears in this game. I really do.
Matt Stafford ain't Dieter Brock.
I love Matt
That's
Stafford.
That's a great quarterback in that game.
I love Matt Stafford too.
Dieter Brock came down from Canada and he was a starting quarterback.
I really do. Well, they're going to need help. They can bring it from Canada. They can bring it from wherever the hell you want to find it.
And you're picking the Bears.
I'm picking the Bears.
To win.
I'm not surprised.
I'm picking the Bears to win.
Yeah. Homer.
Wow.
They're at home.
Yeah.
Look.
They can. Look, it's a great story what they've done. It really is. Because I think they're a year ahead of schedule. And so kudos to Ben Johnson for what he's done. But the reality is, I think the Rams are the better team.
And they've got a coach that he's been there, he's done that. A crazy stat that this is Sean McVay's 15th playoff game, and all of them are against a different team, 15 different teams.
Speed dating the playoffs.
Here's another one. He's going for his 10th playoff win as a head coach before the age of 40. No one else has more than 5.
That's incredible. He's an incredible coach. And like I said, there's two things. That worries. The speed on the outside worries me. They don't have a ton. The other thing is the secondary, but their pass rush hasn't been as good either. So you have two teams that don't have a great pass rush against two quarterbacks who can throw it around. Don't let the win ruin the damn game. This could be one of those 41, like the 49ers game. It could be that game all over again. The Bears going up and down the field and the other team going up and down the field.
I mean, it's the Windy City, Pete, and this time of year. How would you like to see it, Kyle? I mean, if you could just, as a former Bears player, as someone who would love to be there and play in this game, if you're on the Bears, what kind of weather do you want?
I want it to be cold. I want it to be as cold as possible. I want it to be as windy as possible, and Lord willing, there's some precipitation as well. And any opportunity you get to be at home and play in the conditions that you've practiced in all season long, it plays into your advantage. And this game's no different to me.
Soon they're going to have an indoor stadium in
Dome it
in Indiana.
In Indiana, Indiana
back to
have two NFL teams. Indiana have two NFL teams.
Unbelievable. Okay, let's recap the picks from the guys. Pete Prisco has a 1-game lead on Kyle Long, and they only agree on one pick, and that is New England -2.5 against.
You know,
the
my
Texans.
goal is to go 2-2 every week, so that way he can't catch me.
Oh, this guy's a math.
We don't have many games left. After this week, only 3 games left to pick. So, Pete, if you could potentially mathematically put this out of reach.
If I win all 3 that we disagree on, yeah.
Well, we got best bets too.
And you know what I'd say? Good night, the no-no.
Here we go. Best bets. I'm the only one over 500 now. 11-8. Mine hit last week. Patriots -3.5.
Mine didn't. I had you know what mine happened to mine?
What?
I had the over in the Jaguars-Bills game. You know what we picked it at?
What?
51.5. You know how many points there was scored?
51?
Yeah.
Oh boy. All right, Pete, lead us off with your best bet.
That, by the way,
week.
you know what that's called? That's called a loser, not a loser. Loser. I'm taking the Bills. I think Josh Allen, it's your moment.
You're back on the
I'm
bandwagon.
back on the Bills. I believe in Josh Allen. I just didn't think they were the better team last week. He showed me what he can do, even when they're not the better team. I'm taking Buffalo minus the point.
Going into this year, I met a gentleman by the name of Tyler Warren while doing some Super Bowl coverage during last year's Super Bowl, and I said, "My God, if our offense could just get their hands on this guy," and we didn't. We ended up drafting a guy.
They passed on Warren.
Colston Loveland, who is a better player. I come to find out. Colston Loveland is going to go over, and what are his yards? 54.5 receiving yards for Colston Loveland. He continues his historic rookie season run as a tight end, and he is.
So somebody gave you the pick again this week?
No, they didn't.
They gave you a
They didn't give
loser
me a
last
pick.
week.
They gave me Josh Allen last week. I think I was 3 yards away. Maybe if we can get to 13
gave
yards
you a
on the
loser
He's
last
0-2 on props, by
Yeah.
the way, when he tries to pick them.
I'm
Don't
trying
try to
something.
play the producer's game.
Trying something new.
I'm hedging. I'm going Rams -3.5 in Chicago against the Bears. That offense is just so explosive.
I'm not going to get that for Christmas.
You're going Rams?
You're going Rams?
Rams
Right?
-3.5. Don't hit me.
What are you doing? I thought we were in this together.
Bad karma. That's bad karma. You know,
That's
the hedge.
brutal.
Exactly what it is. I'm
It's
not going to
the
get it. I'm not going to
happiness
get it.
hedge.
Then he gets it.
Come on.
Yeah.
Producers, it's the Patriots and the Texans to punt on their opening drive. At plus
this is
235. Just what Pete wants to see. Couple of teams playing smash mouth defensive football, punting it.
What if they fumble?
Then it's a loss.
Right. Well, a lot of things can happen.
Well.
That's a loss.
It is a loss. So there are our divisional round best bets. Colston Loveland, what a turnaround for him. He was getting picked on by some of the fans at the start of this season. Then he had
Not by
that
me. He
breakout
was my
game.
number one tight end.
Boy, he's showing it right now. Kyle, I hope to see you at the Bears game this weekend.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
So what are your Packers to do?
Good luck, everybody.